Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, welcome back to the channel. Hey, listen, if you're new here, like and subscribe. Um, it helps the channel out, and plus, it helps with people that want to know more about astrology. Okay. Look, just doing a quick video. The time now is like 1:34 Eastern Standard Time. Well, I'm sorry, Eastern Daylight Time over here, right? All right, Eastern Daylight Time right now. Okay. We got a solar eclipse occurring today. It's going to be occurring at 1:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to be exact. If you're on the East Coast, okay. Um, if you're in another part of the world, of course, it occurs at a different time zone. We all know that, right? But as of right now, it's occurring around 1:56. All right. So solar eclipses are very important in astrology. It's a very good predictive tool. Okay. It's a very excellent predictive tool. I use it all the time to predict a lot of things. Okay. So it's a good predictive tool. So I want to point that out. If you're doing horary astrology or even if you're doing medical astrology, this is a very good tool to use. Eclipses are very good tools to use. Okay, lunar eclipses are good as well, especially when it comes to relationships. Okay, but if you don't know about eclipses, of course, an eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun. Okay, if you're seasoned in astrology, or you don't have to be, you can just be a layman's guy or gal and understand that. Okay, I think even if you watch the news right now, I believe they explain what a solar eclipse is and what it does. Okay, so and that's why I always say when people don't believe in astrology, they actually do because uh, they get a lot of astrology and astronomy from the weather guy on the news. Okay, so and if they're explaining to you what an eclipse is, then hey, that's all astrology. Okay, so no quarrels with that. Um, so the eclipse is occurring at 21 degrees of Libra. Okay, and we all know that when it comes to Libra, the rulerships when it comes to Libra and stuff like that. Okay, so um, and we know the ruler is Venus and all that good stuff. So, but it is occurring at 21 degrees of Libra, 8 minutes. All right. Now the decadent that is in, it's in the Mercury decadent. I want to point that out because a lot of people, uh, they don't get into decadence and dwads and all that stuff. Um, my teacher always told me, make sure you account for everything. Everything matters, okay? And it does. Everything in astrology matters. And even with that little small tidbit, it's a deeper meaning. Just trying to go into it, but I don't want to make it a long video. But I just want to point out that it's a new moon eclipse, and it is occurring at 21 degrees of Libra. And I always get the question like, what's going to be happening in this, eclipse? I mean, what's going to happen and all that? I mean, it really depends on where it's occurring in your chart. Okay, so you have to take a look at where that eclipse is occurring, what house it's occurring in. I mean, but the overall idea about it is of course, Libra's Venus rules. So uh, with that take, you already know it's going to be about uh, love stuff, relationships. We know it's going to be about that relationship with other countries. Just looking at the U.S. chart right now, the eclipse is occurring in its ninth house. If you don't know about the U.S. chart, and that's debatable. Okay, the U.S. chart when it was founded and all that. We got July 4th, 1776 at what 6:30 local mean time. I mean, it's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I mean, listen, interpretation is everything. Another astrologer may have another time. Okay, maybe the U.S. was founded under a different planetary alignment. I mean, they can have that as well. But I know the American Federation of Astrologers, that I think they use July 4th, 1776 at 6:30 local mean time. Um, they do, I guess, believe that, hey, it was founded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The country was. So when they're looking at planetary alignments, they use this particular date and time, okay, and location. So nothing wrong with that. Um, to each his own. Like I said, every astrologer is different, always. But just to get you a gist of it, the eclipse is occurring in the ninth house. It has a nice trine to the natal Mars at 21 degrees exact um, of Gemini. So that's all communication, relationship communication. Is all in the sixth house. It's that service. Since it's ninth house where the solar eclipse is occurring, that's all international, foreign type stuff. Okay, this we as a country are going to be dealing with, and even at the moment we're dealing with what foreign international affairs, right? Relationships with other countries. So there you go. So sometimes a lot of eclipses have direct hits. What I mean about a direct hit, meaning it occurs, it's connecting with another planet, asteroid, or point, or house cusp at the exact degree. Okay. The exact degree where it's creating a trine is at 21 degrees of Gemini. So that's a plus, right? I think it's easy for us to what? Provide services to other countries, right? That's kind of what that trine is about right there. So in the next 3 years, you're going to see a lot of, our country providing services to other countries, okay? By way of communication, and also sometimes possessions, possibly, right? All right. So, yeah, you're definitely going to see that. So, you're going to see stuff like that. But another other thing to point out is that it's also creating a square with the USA's Mercury, okay? So, Mercury, just based on this time and date, is at 24 degrees of Cancer. So, that's creating a square. An approach, a square aspect to the Mercury, and the Mercury in Cancer is actually occurring in the seventh house, which that's the house of partnerships, right? So, and so it's going to be foreign. It's a foreign thing going on, right? So we're going to be getting into foreign tensions, communication wise, right? Partnerships are going to be high tension alerts, okay? Because that's what a square is. It's a high tension alert point. All right. So we're going to be squaring off with some people, basically foreign people on top of that, because the eclipse is occurring in the ninth house. That's foreign territory. That's way out territory. And just keep in mind that, that eclipse now it's making a separating aspect to Juno, which Juno deals with what? Partnerships. Here we go back to partnerships. So it's kind of like repeat patterns, right? So it's actually combust. That Juno is combust because it's at 21 degrees, even although it's separating, it's still under the sun's rays. Okay, so that's a separating aspect, but it still has a bearing on that particular asteroid. So due to the fact that Juno is combust, it's creating a debilitated situation with partnerships just right off the bat, not including the other square that we have with Mercury, okay, in the seventh house, another partnership repeat. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through the years. And yeah, it's gonna be easy for us to repeat patterns. And again, Pallas, that this asteroid, this in the second house, so it's creating a trine with the eclipse. So it's going to be repeat patterns of providing support, okay, and services to other countries, okay. So But just a little tidbit. The actual south node is actually at 24 degrees of Libra. So um, that's even exact. That's another exact square. Again, that's an exact square to the natal Mercury of the USA. So, and the south node eclipses are not really good. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, they're not good because it deals with a lot of history, deals with past transgressions. It deals with the past. I mean, so you got that going on, and that's high up. It's elevated in the USA chart. Okay, the South Node is elevated. It's very elevated, so it's in the 10th house. And as you know, planets, asteroids, points that's found in angular houses are very powerful, or as the ancients say, accidentally dignified. Okay, so you got the South Node up high, elevated. Of course, you got the North Node down below, and that creates a nice trine to the ascendant of the U.S. and also sextile to a couple other points in the chart. All right, so especially to the seventh house cusp. So that's creating a nice little sextile. And it's not even approaching. It's actually separating, but it's a sextile nonetheless. So just a little FYI on the eclipse. It's very important that we take eclipses into account. Okay, take everything into account. Eclipses are very, very powerful, very important. I want you guys always to take eclipses into account, and see where it's falling in your chart. And actually, as far as the location of the eclipse, it's going to be, and you need to watch this very closely over the next 3 years, just generally of what's going on in the world. So you got the eclipse, it's 90% of it is occurring, in South America and stuff like that. It's occurring all over, but most noticeable, it's cutting through, the pathway of the U.S. Part of Texas, the southern part of Texas is cutting through. It's cutting all the way through New Mexico. So we need to watch that. And also Utah. It's also cutting through Nevada and a little bit of Oregon. Okay, so those are the states we want to watch over the next, 3 years because solar eclipses have a 3-year range to them, 3-year lifespan altogether. And if it's not exact, or as I say, a direct hit to a certain point, then that's when you have that time lapse of it occurring within that 3 years. But if something is a direct hit, meaning in the same exact degree, if that point, asteroid, planet, or house cusp is in that exact degree, if it's a direct hit, that's when you're going to feel that energy immediately. Okay, that's anywhere. But as of right now, this is just something to keep a watch out for. So, and pay attention to. All right. So enjoy this eclipse. Enjoy every moment of your life. All right. Like and subscribe to my channel. More videos coming out, especially with relationships. And this is relationships. Another thing I want to add too. The idea of marriage. Okay. Over the next 3 years, you're going to see that, okay, since it's in Libra, and of course, it's Venus rule, that's love, right? And since it's, debilitating this Juno, all right, this solar eclipse is conjunct Juno, which makes it combust, okay, which meaning it is burning out, okay? It is burn Juno out, all right? And Juno deals with relationships and marriages. So for the next 3 years, you're going to see the debilitation of marriages. Okay, the marriage is going to be taboo in the next 3 years. And not only does this solar eclipse call for it, but Neptune, which is a slow moving planet, that's going to be going into Aries. Okay, All right, it's no longer me in Pisces. So the next 3 years is going to be all the way in Aries. And Aries is what? Individual. Okay. Now remember, as you know, Neptune is a higher octave of Venus. All right, so keep that in mind. So, and more on that, as years come. Okay, that's a whole new video, but you're gonna see the entire movement of marriage is just going out. Okay, um, 2024 will be the last year of marriages. When I say that, I mean mentally. And since it's making that square to Mercury in the seventh house in the West, just mentally, people are going to think very differently about marriages, okay? It's going to be taboo. It's not going to be a good thing to get in it. People are going to be squaring off with people who think marriage is a good thing because, unfortunately, they're going to think it's not. Remember, mental, Mercury, thinking. They're going to think that it's not. They're going to think it's foreign. It's a foreign thing. Hence the square with the solar eclipse in the ninth house. All right. So keep that in mind. Just some of the FYI keep in mind to look for, okay, over the next 3 years while the solar eclipse is going on. And when it start happening, I'm gonna say, hey, y'all kick back that video that I actually did on this and understand that this is inevitable, okay? So, but yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.